Hi, this is Rabbi Orlofsky. Welcome to the Parsha in 5, where in 5 minutes we give you an insight into the Parsha to hopefully enhance your Shabbos. And now we're coming to the end of the year. We're coming to the end. We have to appreciate the final Shabbosim of the year and to make it meaningful for us. So, Parshas Nitzavim, some Vayelech are separate this year. Parshas Nitzavim, I'm reading to you from Perek Lamed, Pasuk Yud Tes. Hey, doisi v'chem hayom es hashamayim v'esaretz. I bring as witness heaven and earth. Hachayim v'hamoves nosati lefanecha, habracha v'haklala. I place before you today life and death, bracha and klala. Life is bracha and death is klala. And I put these two things in front of you. Uvacharata b'chayim, and choose life. Says Rashi, Ani moira lachem, shetivcharu b'chelik hachayim, ka'odem ha'omer lebeno, bocha lecha chelik yafa b'nachalosi. Go out and choose the best thing that I have. And the best thing that I have is bracha and life. I knew a young lady who was struggling with mental illness. And she was becoming lax in her mitzvah observance. And her parents wanted me to speak to her. She was not doing well. They were trying to find the right cocktail of drugs to be able to help her. And it was very hard. She was clearly in a lot of pain. I mean, that was obvious. And I said, I don't think anybody gets how hard life is for you. And she says, I feel like if I didn't keep fighting, I would die. And I said, you would kill yourself? She said, no, I would just die from the pain. I've met people who cut themselves. They literally take a piece of glass and cut their skin. They're covered with scars because the pain is so intense they can't take it. The pain of the mental illness that they're going through, the pain of the suffering they're having is so hard. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, I'm giving you life and I'm giving you death. I'm giving you bracha and I'm giving you klala. And life is going to be about you choosing bracha or klala. And that's why in last week's parasha, as soon as we come into Israel, there's two mountains, Har Grizim and Har Evel. And one is the mountain of bracha and one is the mountain of klala. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, choose which mountain you want. You want to live a life of suffering, you want to live a life of death. On Rosh Hashanah, we say, Rishayim are written into the Sifrei Mesim. And ask Rav Dessler. But you see that there are Rishayim who every year don't die on Rosh Hashanah. And he says, yes, they do. They're just not going to be buried for 40 years. But they're already dead. Because when Hashem says, Uvacharata b'chayim, they chose death. They chose klala. They chose a life of pulling away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, I give you a choice. You want to live in bracha, you want to live in klala. What's going to motivate you? Bracha or suffering? I hate to say how many people are motivated by suffering. I don't have to tell you how many people are dead while they're still alive. And that's why tzaddikim, even when they're dead, are called alive. And Rishayim, even when they're alive, are called dead. It's a very important thing. The first thing a person has to say is, I want to live. I want to be alive. Zachrenu l'chayim, melech chafetz v'chayim, v'kasveinu b'sefer ha'chayim. I'm still available for Rosh Hashanah. Yeah? Choose life. Choose life. That's the most important thing, is I have to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to live. And if you want to live, then everything else will follow in its wake. All the bracha will come. Follow Hashem's advice. Choose life. Shabbos.